houses and chart systems. To understand the houses, we first have to understand briefly where the system of the houses stems from. In ancient times and up until now, we've always had people who have observed the sky, so there have been many interpretations and developments on which house system is the best. Even in our world today, this is still researched by many astrologers. There have been many schools, although we will keep it simple. There is the house cusp system, which looks at each house in relation to the ascendant degree or the rising degree from the east. Many of the Western astrologers use this system, and even in Jyotishi or Vedic Astrology, there are such developments like the Krishnamurti Paddhati system, also known as KB, which was developed by Professor K.S. Krishnamurti. There is also the question of the tropical zodiac and the sidereal zodiac. In our Jyotishi, we will be using the sidereal sky. Sidereal astrology for the Western world was first introduced by the astrologer Cyril Fagan, who realized that the astronomers were using the sidereal placements of the planets and the stars for their calculations. We will go into the study of the tropical and sidereal systems much later, as it is an entire lesson on its own. So, there are different charts used by astrologers across the globe. There is a circular chart used by a lot of great Western astrologers. In the Jyotishi tradition, there are three main charts commonly used. You get the South Indian chart, although which was also found in other areas of the world, which is made up of squares and has a place in the center for the horoscope's details. The blocks or the squares have a fixed zodiac, and the rising sign is seen or indicated by a the ascendant symbol, or some would have two lines. There is the Eastern chart, also found in many other areas of the world. It also has a space in the center for the details. The number also shows the zodiac symbol, 1 being Aries, 2 being Taurus, 3 being Gemini, etc., etc. When the rising sign changes, the number also changes and it moves in order in an anti-clockwise direction. Then there is the North Indian chart, also known as the diamond chart, which is what we will be focusing on in our learning. This is the chart I also prefer, although all the charts perform the same function. Like we have mentioned earlier, in the Eastern chart, the numbers represent the zodiacs and not the houses. The houses are fixed and the zodiac is the one moving in an anti-clockwise direction. Astrologers looked at the sky and decided to map it out and divide it into 12 equal parts of 30 degrees each, which gave birth to the house system and the 12 zodiacs. The 30 degrees was derived from the observing of the sun, how the sun moved in relation to our earth, which takes a day to move 1 degree. In the 30 days, the sun would have moved across one zodiac or one house. And of course, it is the apparent movement of the sun, the geocentric model, which was used by ancient people and religions who believed the sun rose and the sun set. This was later updated by Nicolaus Copernicus into the heliocentric model, and guys like Galileo also supported this, which is the truth that the earth is the one rotating around the sun. Time is the tool used to divide the houses. It takes approximately 2 hours for the zodiac to shift. Again, this is from the movement of the sun. In a day, there are 24 hours. If you divide those hours by 12, it will give you 2 hours for each house. So this is the crucial aspect of astrology. It is very time sensitive. The time of birth is needed to establish the rising sign for that individual. Sunrise is always from the eastern horizon, so the first house or rising is also known as the eastern horizon. The location and time of birth are the necessary tools for casting the horoscope. The first big square on top will always be the first house for all horoscopes, regardless of the number or the zodiac rising. The adjacent triangle going anti-clockwise will always be the second house, etc., etc. Now that we have a general understanding about the development of the house systems, we can start going into what each one of the houses represent for our life and incarnation. Independent of the planets and other celestial bodies, the houses themselves also have a life of their own. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, like and share. I'd be most grateful.